Well, I think we have to reorient ourselves because in the United States or in other big powers, so to say, nobody would ask, is it realistic? They would say, we have to have it, and now we have to start. And the same mind has to go for the European Union. We have to have it if we don't want to lose our influence in the world, and now we have to start to build it. It will certainly be not an easy job, and it needs time to get used, especially for the foreign ministers and the head of governments, that there are much more limits, many more limits than in the past on foreign policy, and that they have to put it together. I know that especially in those elements where foreign policy is mixing with enlargement, like in Turkey or on the Balkans, or especially Turkey, it is different. Because we don't see Turkey only as a partner outside the EU, because some wanted to have it inside the EU. And that makes, of course, a big difference, because the perception of what the EU should be is different. If it should be only or primarily intergovernmental, so it's easy to say, Turkey, come in. If it's more community level, then it's not so easy to invite a big country which is very nationalistic and to say, come into the European Union, because they would strengthen, for the moment, the intergovernmental cooperation and not the community method. The Balkan questions are easier because there is no such big country like Turkey. There are not these kind of prejudices against Muslim countries. But nevertheless, of course, there's a lot of homework to do in the reform process, in overcoming poverty and other issues which are impeding a good economic development. So it is another question, but I think this principal question on Turkey you cannot find on the Balkans, because people agree they are part of Europe. More and more it's going over to Madam Ashton as High Representative and Vice President of the Commission. Well, I think it's relatively clear in the system according to the Lisbon Treaty, but of course those who lose according to the treaty, and that are the foreign ministers, they don't want to accept the reality and accept the consequences of the Treaty of Lisbon. And therefore there's this kind of resistance and this kind of insecurity. And I hope sincerely that it's only a part of the process and not a permanent resistance of foreign ministers. I think time will show that if the foreign ministers do not, let's say, combine their potentiality, their creativity, their special relationship they have, and bring it into a common foreign policy of the European Union, we will lose our influence. So it's not about saying there shouldn't be any foreign ministers on the national governments, but on basic strategic orientations, the EU policy must be built upon the individual foreign relationship of member countries and then go forward with a common strategy.